speak it though, what's on your mind is deep though, we'll speak it though, we on the air, just take it there, I'ma take it there. Hold up, yeah, I talk about it, but I'm real about it, I speak on it, but don't catch films about it, we can chop it up like it's nothing, baby.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the OT Radio Show with your boy OT, and we are having live conversations for today. And today, let me just break this down real fast, right? We got Cleveland Brown legend, right? 2-time, first-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler, NFL kickoff return yard leader in 1990, second-team All-American. Now we're going to go to the college stats, y'all. Like 3-time All Southwest Conference football player, 2-time Southwest Conference championship long jumper, and 2-time national championship long jumper. Now, when I talk about this man, when we talk about, y'all see, all these dynamic punt returners, y'all see all these dynamic running backs, but when you combine the two into one, let me tell you what you get, right? Y'all ready for it? 5,572 receiving yards, 2,392 rushing yards, 9,266 return yards, and 55 touchdowns. Now, right now, y'all, I have the legend, the man. When y'all talk about Mr. All-Purpose, that was his name, Mr. All-Purpose. I have him on right now, Mr. Eric Metcalf. How are you feeling today, sir?
I'm good. How you doing, bro?
Oh, man, I'm good. First, man, it's definitely an honor and it's a pleasure to have you join us on this live conversation with me, your boy OT, and we got you right here, the legend. Yeah. First, man, whew.
Let me say this first. Before you go, I think I'm going to have you just walk around with me. And when I walk in the room, I want you to just announce me like that.
Okay, I got you. Listen, man, I got you, man. Because a lot of times when we talk about, all purpose and stuff like that, man, we had some good people. We had people like, man, Josh Cribbs from Devin Hester, that's my Howard, right? Brian Westbrook, these are like all purpose backs that do a lot of things, right? And you was one of them, man. When you talk about from kick returner to punt returner to running back to slot wide receiver you did everything, right? And now when the kids start to see all-purpose running backs, right? Now they're going to see Saquon Barkley. Now they're going to see Eric, the boy name. God darn it, got his name. Wow.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, right? Hey, so now when they start seeing these backs, they're like, wow, they could do it all. But, man, we had some. And you was one of the legends, man. Cleveland Browns own, even though you traded, you went to Atlanta, still blew up down there, still had 1,000 yards of reception, playing in the slot. Like, a lot of people don't know this stuff, but I do, because I'm a football guy, right? Sir. So let's talk about a little something, man. How did all this started? Who was this man, Eric Metcalf?
Well, all got started because this guy, number 21 in the red behind me. That's Terry Metcalf, who played for the St. Louis Cardinals, who was also an All-Pro, who also went to the Pro Bowl. When I grew up, my mother and father had me when they were young, when they were in high school. Mm-hmm. And so as a youngster, I was able to see my dad playing college football and then when he first got into the league. And so, back during that time when I was growing up, I wanted to be like my dad. And my dad just happened to be a good football player. As I got older, I wanted to be better than my dad. So I was trying to do everything I could to try to be better than him. So if I wasn't better than him and I got to maybe his level, I was still good. And I feel good about it because that's who I always wanted to be.
Wow, man. Interesting. Especially when you say that too, looking at how your dad was one of the top ones out there, man, and how he did everything for the Arizona Cardinals and stuff like that. And growing up seeing it, now I see why you're that man that you are today. So let's reflect on some things, right? So one of the things I want to reflect on your time in the NFL, right? One of the moments on your achievement standards the most meaningful was one, because I know one, but I think you're going to say this one.
I'm not going to say it.
Oh man,
I'm not going to say it. I think you're going to say the 2 punt returns against Pittsburgh.
Yes, I am, but I know that you'll probably have another one.
I do, and that has become my favorite over the course of the last few years, because when I go back to Cleveland and I'm around fans, it was always the moment that they think about and bring up to me as one of the most exciting things that ever happened for Browns against the Steelers. And so It's exciting to the Browns fans. So it's moving up there on the list. But when I think about most exciting things to me, it's like, as a kid, there are certain things you want to do when you get to the National Football League, if you're fortunate enough to get there. And talk about things like when you're a kid, you talk about making a jump shot with no time on the clock. You talk about hitting a home run and a walk-off home run. You talk about scoring a touchdown with no time on the clock. Those are things that kids talk about, right? And so I got that opportunity in the NFL. We were playing the Los Angeles Raiders in LA at that time, and I scored a touchdown with 2 seconds on the clock, and so it's one of those moments like we won the game with that, and so that's something that you just dream of. You never believe it's going to happen, but I actually got to do that in the NFL, and so that's the biggest stage where something like that can happen, where dreams are made possible.
Yes. See, because when we talk about that, right, a lot of times, we talk about, that moment. That's one of the moments. But I was like, nah, he have a moment for him, right? Because when we look at the NFL and we look at different people moments, as a fan, our moments is different from y'all's. Right. So as a fan, I said, hey, the 2 punt returns against Pittsburgh, but that's not really it. It's what you just said. So I definitely appreciate that, man. You know what I mean? So as someone known for their versatility, right, on the field, what lessons from football do you think translate into, other aspects of your life?
Well, I think, they always say when you come into a training camp, when we're talking about football, they say the more you can do. The more you can do gives you a better opportunity of being around, right? And surviving in the league, surviving on a team. So the more you can do. And so when you're talking about me being an all-purpose guy, running the ball, receiving the ball, punt and kickoff return, and even throwing a couple touchdowns while I was in the league, that's just versatility, right?
Right.
And so I feel like if you're versatile in your life in the same respect, there's nothing that can keep you down. There's always something you can do. And that's the one thing I like about sports, and especially football, because you have so many people on a football team. Everybody comes together from different walks of life, and they have to come together and get together in order to be successful, whether you like people or not, whether you disagree or agree with people and how they think about things. It doesn't matter when you're in between those lines. You have to come together and make it work if you're going to be successful as a team. And that's all life is. When you go to a job, it's going to be the same way. There might be people you don't want to work with or you don't like, but if you really want to keep that job and you want to advance, you guys have to come together. And that's what I love about sports. That's what because it's so close to life that people don't understand it unless you're really in it, because you just come together and try to make it work.
Man, I feel that. So let's talk a little bit about, after the game. You know what I mean? After the game, everything is, done mentally. How was your mental afterwards? How did you adjust?
It's a different mindset, because when I retired, I had something to do. I had started coaching track while I was still in the league, and I started a track club, and I would coach these high schoolers throughout the course of the summer until I had to go to training camp. And so I knew that's something I wanted to do because I just love track. But the problem with it with a lot of guys is that how do you find the passion to do something that you had to have to play at the highest level? And so that's what makes it hard, is finding that level of passion to get you inspired to do something else. And so for me, coaching, and eventually I coached at the University of Washington and some professional track athletes as well. But the passion wasn't about me actually coaching. The passion was about me trying to see how good I can make them. And so that's what always had me going. That's what has me going now, because I still coach a guy right now. And so it's just trying to see how I can help him become the best person that he can be.
Interesting. Now, is that because, because you did track and football too? Because a lot of people just do football. And the fact that you was a 2-sport champion. Let me tell that again, 2-sport champion, right? Was that like one of the motivating parts too?
To coaching track, yeah. But I think, people want to be able to touch other people in a certain way. Right. And we all, people coach basketball, coach football, hockey, baseball, what have you. But I feel like, and having did track and being and having a love for it, I wanted to be involved in it. And so when I decided I wanted to be a track coach, that love I can put into these kids. And the one thing about track and field is, no matter what place an individual comes in, you can always see improvement. And that's what I love about it. Because you can go out there and get dead last in a race, but run faster than you did the race before. Or jump higher, or jump further, or throw farther. These are things, so you can always get better. And so although someone might not be winning while they're competing, they can always get better. And as long as someone's improving, you can't be mad at that.
Now, let's translate now to our youth right here. You know what I mean? The kids that are playing football, high school kids that's going into college. What is something that you can tell them? So, matter of fact, this is a 2-part question. So the kids translating from high school to college, then college to just any pro sport, because now it's the NFL, now it's the XFL and CFL and all that other stuff. What can you tell the kids today? What are things that they can do to improve themselves, and what are things that they shouldn't be doing?
I mean, it's a tough situation because there's so many avenues and so many ways that people can go. I think for me, when we're talking about graduating from level to level, everybody who moves on to that same level with you has ability. We know that, or they wouldn't be there. They have ability. It's your mindset. How are you going to treat it? Are you going to be complacent with the ability you have? Or are you going to try to get better? Are you going to go do things? Are you going to study your playbook? Are you going to study other players? You're going to study players from the past and see how they did and how they were successful. It becomes a mental thing as to why you get to stay around longer than the other guy, or vice versa. And so I would tell guys, it's the ability we know you got. You cannot, but you can't sleep on it. You still have to work. But at the same time, you always have to be preparing mentally, because that's what gets you past the other guys.
Now since college now with these NIL deals, which I always supported the kids getting paid, you know what I mean, because they made colleges a whole lot of money, but I think it's messing up the landscape of kids trying to get to the big leagues because they're already making money doing what they're doing. How do you feel about that?
Like you said, I'm all for guys getting paid, because of these universities make so much money off these players every Saturday and throughout the course of the year, and so they got to get paid. I mean, jumping from school to school, I don't know about that, because it's sometimes it's about that's saying I don't really want to compete.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's some times where a guy's jump because people left and he knows he can probably go there and start. And so it's a tough situation. I like the fact that they have the ability to move around just like a coach could, because a coach can sign with a coach, and one day he was like, oh, I'm going over here. Yeah. And then you're stuck in the old rules. And so I like the fact that these guys can go. I just don't like the fact that some guys are just going because they don't think they're going to play. We all want to play. Right. Work hard, find out what you need to do to get on the field. And if you do that, then it should go your way if you believe in your ability.
Okay. Solid on that one. I mean, which is the truth, which is definitely the truth. Now,
I will say this, I'm not against it, because I went to the University of Texas, and so we have lots of money and we're able to get guys. So I'm cool.
listen. I know. You know what I mean? So now, since what are the things that you're doing now? Because now we're starting to see you more. Now we're starting to see you more on social media. You know what I mean? Why is it that now we're starting to see you more than before then? Because we didn't see you that much.
I know, and it's kind of weird, It's kind of weird. I was on Twitter and everything, but it's just like, I can say what I want when I want, But I do pregame and postgame show on a local station in Cleveland during the season, and I also do consulting with Nike Track and Field, and like I said, I coach an athlete who still runs track post collegiate, and so those are the things I do. I think now getting more on social media it's just about people knowing what I'm doing, but it's still weird to me.
Right.
It's still weird to me. Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, it's something where I can just say what I want, just take it out. With Instagram and all this taking pictures of myself, I'm having a hard time. I just feel weird with that, and I get it, that that's the way to go. And if you want to be known, if you want people to use you for their brands and things like that, they need to see you. But it's just weird, and I'm trying to get used to it, and so it's hard. But I think by the time I get old, I'll have it down.
Yeah. Now, looking back at everything, is there anything that you wish you would have known or done differently during your NFL career?
I don't know if I think it's more so before my NFL career. I wasn't much of a big weightlifter growing up, and even in college and even through the NFL. And so I think if I would have applied myself more in the weight room, once I got into the NFL, guys or teams wouldn't have treated me as just a third down back base per se, or a returner. I think like now in today's game, I might have been close to 200 pounds like a Christian McCaffrey and those type of guys, and still being able to do the same things that I did, but I would be able to do it more often. I would be more the way they play today, they're like every down backs because the field is spread out and they feel like these guys can do it. I feel like if I was more into weights and a little stronger when I was younger, I probably could have been used the same way. And then I might have been happy.
Man, listen, man, because now, looking at football now, and when I was looking at it back in the the 80s and the 90s, man, it's totally different, right? Are they coming out with all different kinds of rules and stuff like that? Because now I think they got the you can't tackle on the hip or something like that now and then spin them around.
The hip drop.
Man, like
see, I'm gonna let you go on that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, but let's talk about that a little bit. How do you feel about that now?
See, the hip drop is a dangerous thing. And I understand that we want to see real football. I mean, I think the way football is played now is soft, right? But then when you look at how my dad and those guys played, they think when I played it was soft.
Yeah.
So they could do everything. So it's relative. But I think it's more about now protecting the players. In the old days, guys weren't really hip dropping. They were just tackling. Yeah, right? But that hip dropping can get you hurt. And I understand we don't want it to be flag football, but and it's everything is really against defenders. But defenders won't understand what it's like until it happens to them, which is not going to happen. Because if they get an interception or pick up a fumble and start running, offensive players aren't trained to tackle like that.
No, they're not.
They're not going to do it. So it'll never really happen to them. But defenders can continue to do it, and guys are getting hurt and possibly losing careers. And we don't want to see that.
Now, you're not lying about that, man, because I don't want to see, players get hurt. You know what I mean? Because, that's something, you don't know what their families and stuff is going through. You know what I mean? And, I won't say that football is soft. I'm not going to say that because you're still tackling. You're still giving good hits. You know what I mean? Once in a while, you might see a good hit, a flag come out. You're like, okay, take that 15-yarder, my guy. I love it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for the safety players, man, you know what I mean? Because we want them to have lives afterwards. Right. We want them to be able to walk and stuff like that. Because now players are now retiring at the age of 24, 25, 26 years old now. Right? 30 years old.
A lot of it has to do with the amount of money they made during that period of time, though. I mean, some of these guys are getting hurt and not feeling well or fearful of what they might feel like later on, but they make so much money.
Man, they do.
That they can retire. Back in the day, they couldn't retire like that. I mean, I think my dad's signing bonus in 1972 or whatever was like $19,000. And so third round pick. And so, some cats back then had to have second jobs, right?
Yeah.
And so now we've gotten to a point where the TV money and everything that they make so much money that, sometimes it's almost a problem when you, from my standpoint, when you're watching the football game, just like, these guys ain't gonna play hard. They ain't playing hard. They get a hangnail and they can't play anymore. I'm serious. I played 8 games with my hand fractured. I played 2 playoff games with my foot fractured. I played with a separated shoulder just because I wanted to play the game. But guys, they don't do that now. There's all the stories that you hear of old guys, Ronnie Lott cutting off a finger. There's so many stories that you hear because it was different. Yeah. And now, if you give me $25 million and I got a hangnail job, I'm good. I'm good.
So now with that too, you know what I mean? And from being an NFL legend, right? And being a fan and watching it, I think the same thing. Like, wow, you know what I mean? Are they really going to go out there and play? You know what I mean, with all the money that they're making. Not taking nothing against, because that's a violent sport that you play, right? You know what I mean? And the span for an NFL player is not even like 6 years, right? So, especially when you're a starter. Special teams last a little bit longer. But starting players and stuff like that, the span is like 6 years. And seeing that, sometimes it takes me back and be like, are they really putting their heart into it? Or are they like, listen, I'm just ready to get this check and I'm going to call it a day, right? You know what I mean? Because we've seen teams quit, like my Eagles just quit. Right? They just quit. I don't care what nobody say, man. We watch it on the field and everybody just quit. So all my Eagles fans, they can say what they want to say, but they know how I feel. Our team quit.
And it happens. Yeah, and that's, it's human nature sometimes, especially if you're not winning. If you're not winning games, yet you're getting paid. Do you want to take a chance of going out there and getting hurt? Shoot, no, because depending on who you are, now your contract could be up. Yeah. You might be a free agent. That you could be auditioning for other teams. You don't want to get hurt, and especially if you're losing. You don't want to get hurt and not have an opportunity to go to another team because you're injured, or the team that you're with don't bring you back because you're injured. These are things that people think about because they're human. Right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people don't think about that, especially when you get to the 14th, 15th, 16th weekend and your team has been eliminated for a month. Mm-hmm. It makes it hard to go in there on a day-to-day basis. It's that check that's the only thing that keeps you excited.
Hey, listen. That is definitely the truth, though. You know what I mean? You start seeing them digits, you're like, yeah. Well, this game's gonna cost about $67,000 right now. Yeah. I'll go out here. I ain't gonna give them my all, but I'm just gonna go out here, catch a couple of passes, tackle a couple of bit,
As long as I don't get hurt, this check right here is gonna pay for the whole family to go to Cancun.
Yeah. Oh, so well, listen, man. I definitely appreciate you joining us here on the show, man. Man, you gotta come back on, man. Football season's upon us. Right. Yes, what do you think the Cleveland Browns is going to do? How do you feel about your team? Talk to me for a second about that.
I feel good about it. I felt good about it last year. even when people thought Deshaun wasn't playing well, but Deshaun hadn't played in 2 years. Deshaun has been a Cleveland Brown for over a little over 2 years now, and he still has only played 12 games, but he's 8-4 in those 12 games. Now it hasn't looked pretty, but 8-4, anybody would take that, I believe, right? Yeah. And so, I feel good about it because I feel like he just got his surgery. He's just started throwing, and I'm looking forward to him being the Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. We're getting more pieces for him. We got Amari doing his thing. David Njoku just signed Jerry Jeudy. We still have Elijah Moore and Cedric Tillman as receivers. The guys can help him. The running back situation, we have to get together. Don't know what's going to happen with Nick Chubb and how soon he can come back. But we still have Jerome Ford, signed Deontay Foreman, and Naeem Hines. So we have some guys. Especially on offense, and we can be explosive. Now, defensively, we played well last year. We kept the defense intact for the most part, which was special. We just have to get that defense to play on the road. This year, it didn't travel. Most of the time, they say defense has traveled. Our defense didn't travel this year. We were very good at home, but not good on the road. And so hopefully we can put that all together in Jim Schwartz's second season and do this thing and get deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think Jim Schwartz is waiting for this game because we are playing y'all this year. The Eagles is playing y'all this year. And, Nah, see, I ain't gonna let you do that one. I ain't gonna let you do that one right there.
Look.
All right, okay. So,
and I'm hoping it's in Sao Paulo.
No, I think it's at Lincoln Financial.
Oh, they already said who's gonna play in Sao Paulo?
Yeah.
Who's going to? No, I thought we were gonna be the ones to go.
Nah. So let's do something right here, right?
Okay.
Because I always admired everything that you did, when I was watching football back then. And I'm going to tell you. So the Eagles play the Cleveland Browns. If Cleveland Browns win, I would put on a Browns jersey. Now, I can do that. Now, if my Eagles win, would you be willing to put on a Eagles jersey, and who would you want?
There's only one person.
Okay.
Randall Cunningham.
All right. I talked to my guy from Mitchell and Ness to see, can I go ahead and get me a Randall Cunningham jersey, because you're going to need that.
And I talk to Randall all the time, so I'm going to have to tell him about this also.
Make sure you talk.
I'm not going to need it, but just in case. That's who it would have to be. and then after that, I'm going to take it and get him to sign it.
Oh, man. And then you're going to hang it up, on the wall. Right. And then we're going to have to bring you back on the show, and then you're going to show it to me like, hey, man, you see that right there? No problem.
But I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to be one jersey lighter. That's all. I'm good with it.
Oh, man. Well, man, we definitely appreciate you joining us here on the show, man. I appreciate you so much, man. Man, listen, man, you got to come back on during the football season, man.
No doubt. Yes, sir.
Sure. And, can you tell everybody where to find you at on social media or websites?
Oh, man. See, you're doing this to me, man. I don't know. I don't know so well. On X is Eric Metcalf 21.
Right.
And on Instagram is EM2Wonderful.
Well, listen, hold on for a second.
Come on, man, don't do this to me.
Listen, or we can tell them just Google.
Yeah. I tell folks all the time I'm Googleable.
Yeah. Well, hold on for a second. Don't hang up for a minute, man. Hey, y'all, we'll be right back here at the OT show, man. We appreciate y'all. Hold on for 1 second. Oh, man. Listen, y'all, we just had a good show with the NFL legend, Mr. Eric Metcalf, Cleveland Browns own. Listen, we definitely appreciate y'all joining us here on the show. We love y'all. We're going to see y'all again on Thursday. We got someone special coming on Thursday. We don't know, but y'all go ahead and check out our social media. Look up top. Y'all see all the social media, OT Radio Show, all social media platforms. Go ahead and check us out. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching us here with your boy OT Live Conversations with my man Eric Metcalf. Thank you for watching, y'all. Peace.